Us, from Seoul, Korea, a record that could burn a hole in this man's tongue. Can Yim Byung-nam handle over 900 degrees Fahrenheit of molten lead? And see how Bodacious earned the Guinness title of the world's most dangerous rodeo bull.
He hit me in the face and just crushed everything from here to here.
It's 1,800 pounds of the meanest, strongest, and nastiest bull to ever grace the ring. He's a Guinness record holder that's all bull. Frank Simon is going for Guinness gold. See if one man can balance a shopping cart, a stove, and a motorcycle using only his teeth. And from Japan, the game show from hell. Watch if you can as contestants are tortured, beaten, and pecked in what Guinness calls the world's most extreme game show. It's real people, real danger, and real records. Stick around if you're ready for Guinness Prime Time. From Los Angeles, the host of Guinness Prime Time, Chris Collinsworth.
Good evening and welcome to another record-setting program. Now, if I told you that there was a man who claims he can heat a piece of molten metal to over 1,000 degrees, then place it inside his mouth, you'd say that sounds like something you'd see on Guinness Prime Time. And you'd be right. Let's go to Mark Thompson.
I'm here with Mr. Yim Byung-nam from the Korean province of Tcheongkyedo. Mr. Yim cannot speak English, and so Mr. Ko is here with us to translate. Mr. Yim is a 7th degree black belt in Hapkido. It's a form of martial arts devoted to controlling one's mental and physical energy. And he will be attempting a feat that takes mind over matter to the next level. Mr. Yim will take molten lead, lead so hot that it can do this. And actually place that metal inside his mouth. Now we are told that this causes no pain. But how can Mr. Yim do this without burning his tongue?
혀를 베이지 않고 이런 일을 어떻게 할 수가 있느냐고요.
기를 이어가지고 모든 입에다가 기를 이어가지고.
His Hapkido training allows him to control pain.
Now, what was it like the very first time that you put this molten metal in your mouth?
조금 뜨겁죠.
It was hot.
Doesn't this red-hot molten lead, which is still cooking the bacon on our plate here, doesn't this cause any permanent damage to your tongue and your mouth to do this repeatedly?
No permanent damage.
All right, it's time for Mr. Yim to attempt a new Guinness record for the hottest piece of metal held in the mouth. We're using a special industrial thermometer to obtain the official temperature. It's usually used in steel welding. Our Guinness judge, Michael Feldman, is going to take the reading. So, Michael, if you want to put the thermometer in that lead in its molten state now, I'll try to give folks an idea of now 900 degrees. That's 900 degrees Fahrenheit and still climbing. 908. Now it seems to have plateaued at 908. Somewhere between 910 degrees and 910 degrees. The temperature is 910 degrees. Here's how it will work. Mr. Yin will place a piece of molten lead the size of a silver dollar onto this brass spatula. He is then going to transfer the lead onto his tongue. He will hold it inside his mouth for as many seconds as he can. Our Guinness judges are going to keep track of the time the lead is held inside his mouth, and Mr. Yim will then spit out the lead onto this board. What Mr. Yim is about to do is extremely dangerous. He has spent a lifetime perfecting this skill. It should never be tried at home in any way, shape, or form. We have emergency medical technicians standing by in the event that there is a problem here with Mr. Yim. Should he require life-saving assistance, they are standing by. Are you ready, sir?
준비됐습니까?
Yes.
Good luck, and please be careful.
잘 하십시오. 좀 조심하십시오.
This is his martial arts ritual. It helps him focus his mind and channel all his strength into his mouth. These are the heat protective gloves that he's now putting on. You can see nothing is in his mouth, nothing to protect him. He's pouring the lead into the spoon now. This is not a trick.
It is in his mouth. It is in his mouth unequivocally. Oh my God.
Unofficially, 14 seconds you held that molten lead in your mouth. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I never would have believed it. Incredible. The Guinness judges have confirmed your time. 14 seconds in your mouth. Mr. Yim, you now hold the Guinness record for holding the hottest piece of metal in your mouth for 14 seconds. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Yim now.
Now that was very cool, or very hot. Either way, we're coming right back.
Still ahead, a Guinness record that's all bull. He's the meanest, strongest, and nastiest bull to ever grace the ring.
You know, he literally ripped my nose off, and it was pretty ugly.
See exactly how Bodacious earned the title of the world's most dangerous rodeo bull. And the game show from hell. Watch if you can as contestants are tortured and beaten in what Guinness calls the world's most extreme game show. Plus, they're two teenage boys with one hairy record. It's a Guinness profile you won't forget.
The world's toughest cowboys say they'd rather try to saddle a tornado than take a ride on Bodacious, the world's most dangerous bull. He doesn't just throw riders, he demolishes them. In the body-pounding world of rodeo, there are bulls that will buck you, bulls that will drop you, and bulls that will hurl you.
Boy, it looked like they were doing a dance.
But there's only one bull bent on destroying you.
Bodacious. The baddest bull that, there's ever been.
The unridable yellow bull, the unridable from Sammy Andrew. He'll snort your shorts and leave a stain for a month. Oh, this bull is bad.
He's a Charolais Brahmin crossbreed named Bodacious, 1,800 pounds of solid muscle. In 135 matchups with the world's top bull riders, only 8 have gone the distance with him, earning him the title, world's most dangerous rodeo bull. Today, he's an icon, like Moby Dick, Jaws, or King Kong. He's the only bull in the world famous enough to warrant his own home video and line of signature merchandise. Every great warrior has a secret weapon. For Bodacious, it's this one, a deadly head-snapping move that has left a trail of destruction in its wake. He's the only bull that does it. Terry Don West is one of the cowboys that Bodacious has smashed to smithereens. This ride cost Terry 6 broken ribs, a broken collarbone, and a punctured lung. There it is, the potentially fatal rib cage smash.
I couldn't breathe, and that was probably the first time I thought I was going to die. I said I'll never ever get on that bull ever again. And I've said many times that bull's going to kill somebody.
A few have gone the distance with Bodacious. In bull riding, a cowboy has to stay on top of the bull for 8 seconds for the ride to count. Tuff Hedeman, considered by many to be the world's greatest bull rider, says Bodacious gave him the ride of his career.
In order to ride him, I had to, do everything just perfect. There was zero room for any kind of mistake, because, if you did, he was going to make you pay for it.
Tuff and Bodacious were matched again in 1995 at the World Championship held in Las Vegas's MGM Grand. This time, the outcome would be very different.
He left the chute in the first jump, was fine, I was in good shape, and when he started up for the second jump, I was up right over him, and, he just came back and just hit me in the face and, just crushed everything from here to here, and
Onlookers, including fellow competitors hardened to the violence of the sport, were shocked at what they saw.
Luckily, the second jump, it didn't hit him again, or it probably killed him, because his face was already just like a cracked egg then, and if he'd have hit again, I'm sure that his brain would have went all over his head.
Walking out of here.
One eye was over here, and one eye looked like it was down here, and he pulls his contacts out and says, "Tell my wife I'm okay," and jumps in the back of the ambulance. I thought I was looking at the toughest man I ever saw in my life.
Plastic surgeons worked all night to recreate Tough's face.
When I got home, and my son at the time was 3 years old, and didn't hardly recognize me when I got home because of all of the swelling, and like I said, I look quite a bit different. He looked at me and he said, "You know, if you ever draw bodacious again, you're gonna have to chicken out." And I said, "You got a deal." And lo and behold, I joined him at the national finals, and I just said, "No, thank you," and I just didn't get on it.
What you have just seen happen is one of the smartest things I've ever seen a human being do. I want you to tell Tough Hedeman you approve. We need him alive. We need him alive and well.
3 go-rounds later, Scott Bredding drew him, and he did the same thing to him as he did to me. He had a face guard, which still knocked him out, broke bones all around his eye socket, stitches in his face.
This would be the last time any cowboy would ever climb on the back of the world's most dangerous rodeo bull. Owner Sammy Andrews made a very difficult decision: retire Bodacious at the peak of his career.
We allowed that you didn't want to be crippling anybody else or killing them off, and so we allowed that we might all retire him rather than keep him angling up people's faces.
Even today, 4 years after his last ride, no bull has created a path of destruction that would challenge Bodacious' Guinness title as the world's most dangerous rodeo bull. Sammy is currently breeding Bodacious and selling straws with his semen to ranchers across the country. He may one day build a son of Bodacious, Super Bull. But if the cowboys are worried, they're not letting on.
Have you ever seen another Secretariat since Secretariat won that race so well? There's a lot of good blood from Secretariat, but nothing was ever as great as he was.
There's only one Babe Ruth. There's only one Jack Nicklaus.
And only one Bodacious.
Coming up, see if one man can balance a shopping cart, a stove, and a motorcycle using only his teeth. And it's a Guinness profile you won't forget. 2 teenage boys with one hairy record.
Welcome back. When you think of strong men, you envision bulging muscles, washboard abs, titanic thighs. The man you're about to meet has none of those things. But he's going to sink his teeth into a Guinness record that combines incredible strength and skill. Let's go to Mark Thompson.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Key West, Florida, Frank Simon. This is an ordinary, standard electric stove. It's unmodified. It weighs 105.9 pounds.
Everybody clap for me.
Oh my God! Suspended for 16 seconds, Frank. Oh my gosh! That was astounding. That was actually balanced on your teeth. And I wanted, you put something in your mouth. Just show people what it is. It's not like a special metal guard or rubber guard. That's just a piece of cheesecloth.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Show it to everybody, because I want you to see it's not anything that could help him in balancing.
Yeah, I know, but I just want to show you something to make sure everybody understands. I can do a lot of things with that. Everybody clap for me.
Quick question.
I'm in a good mood
I didn't
today.
mean to break. That's great. I don't blame you for being pumped. If I had a stove on my face, I'd be pretty out of it. All right, so tell me if this is to prevent the slippage on the
Yeah,
tape,
actually,
right?
I use that little cloth, make sure it's not flipping over.
Yeah, because if you put the stove right on your teeth...
Something happen, I can hurt myself, many scars on my face, and the people won't recognize me next time,
Now, aren't you afraid, though, that some of these heavy objects can come down and hurt you?
Yes, actually, it could be happen, but, I have a strong neck, my jaw, and my body's built up for that because so much practice, exercise, I'm strong like a bull,
How did you get into all this? How did you start doing this?
Well, actually, I was 13 years old when I started practicing, and...
you didn't start with a huge object like a
no,
stove.
with the small things, like, balancing the pencil, like, with the broomstick,
So the balancing came first?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And then you graduated to bigger and bigger things?
Yes, practicing takes time to balancing more objects later on,
In fact, I want to show people it's not only the huge things that you balance. You've got a great way about you with small objects.
Well, I will show you.
That's a toothpick and that's a penny.
Most of the people using the toothpick after the dinner or something but I just balancing the smallest item, object in. Everybody clap for me, hurry up!
It's remarkable. It really is. You're going to need every ounce of strength and balancing ability tonight to get your spot in the Guinness Book. What Frank will attempt is to set a new Guinness record for the greatest amount of weight balanced on his teeth. And here is what Frank will be balancing. The motorcycle, not the girl.
For the Guinness record, I'm supposed to balance in that motorcycle. Otherwise, it's not for the Guinness record, I'm going to balance her. But I'm going to balance in a motorcycle because I want to be in a Guinness book, for Guinness record, new Guinness record holder, like to be from Kiev, from Hungary.
So I got that you'll be balancing the bike from that. All right, here's how it's going to work. Frank is going to attempt to balance this 127.8-pound motorcycle by placing the kickstand on his teeth. It's not a trick. To qualify for a Guinness record, Frank has to keep the motorcycle balanced in the air for a minimum of 5 seconds. Obviously, this is something that's extremely dangerous. None of what you see tonight should ever be attempted in your home, in your driveway, or anywhere else you get the sudden urge to put something on your face. Frank, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, the stage is yours, my friend. Good luck.
Thank you.
Put a rag on his teeth. It's just a normal cheesecloth. He's got to lift that bike up and then balance the kickstand on his teeth. So they're...
Everybody start to clap.
The cheesecloth going in, and the bike going up. Kickstand on his face. Clock will begin when his hands leave the bike. It started. 2, 3, 4, 5. A new Guinness record! 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 seconds! Around 14 seconds. We're going to get the official Guinness time while the judges review the tape. Let's look at the tape ourselves, but I want you to tell me what was going on. Just lifting the bike is the first step. That's huge, right?
Right.
It's almost 130 pounds.
Well, I already have the grab, when I catching it and push it up.
And now it's balanced. The kickstand on your teeth.
Right. And
now look at that. You seem totally casual. You seem to not be struggling in the least. What's required here? What do you have to concentrate on?
The center of the motorbike, motorbike. To keep, keep holding the balance,
The numbers are in, Frank. And Michael Feldman, the Guinness judge, tells me you held that bike on your teeth for 15.25 seconds. It's a
Next time one. I don't know many times.
Don't you love them? If we could just get Frank to loosen up a little bit, though. We're coming right back.
Up next, it's the game show from hell. Watch if you can as contestants are tortured and pecked in what Guinness calls the world's most extreme game show. And it's a Guinness profile you won't forget. With 2 teenage boys and 1 entire family born with werewolf syndrome.
We're back. Here's a little known fact. Worldwide, human beings spend a quarter of their lives watching television. One of the most popular TV genres, the game show. And according to Guinness, the most extreme game show comes from Japan. What's your breaking point? Would you let a big hungry rat try to gnaw its way through your stomach? Or how about being dangled over a pit filled with hungry snapping gators? As sick and twisted as this might seem, these are just some of the painfully real tortures that contestants are asked to endure during the most dangerous and extreme game show to ever hit the airwaves. The show is called Zagaman in Japan. Rough English translation, Endurance. Created in 1984 as a primetime series for the Fuji Network, it was the #1 rated show when it aired. It is designed to test the very limits of human will and suffering. The contest takes place over a period of 6 weeks and spans 4 continents. The endurance rules are simple. Rule 1, take as much pain and humiliation as the producers can dish out, and you'll move on to the next round. Or you can follow rule number 2. Surrender at any time to pain, exhaustion, or sheer terror, and you're out for keeps. This competition started by having the 500 near-naked contestants lie on a giant sheet of ice and be hosed down with freezing water. Risking frostbite, they writhe in pain, as one by one they give up until the field has been narrowed to 30. Now the fun really begins to win the endurance title. The tortures are divided into categories. There's eating tortures, where large portions of cow brains are served up. Contestants are asked to devour plates of ice cream while naked, buried neck deep in the snow. And if that doesn't turn your stomach, this will. Dining on wall turtle while immersed in a tank of frogs. By losing his lunch, he loses the competition. And then there's the spicy challenge. Contestants are served mounds of mouth-burning foods which they cool off by consuming large quantities of water. They must endure the pain of a swollen bladder and resist going to the bathroom. That's when the bladder-beating machine is hooked up to each contestant, and it literally beats the urine out of them. The weak ones who have to race to the bathroom do not have the will to endure. Now it's on to the physical tortures, where they are hauled through piles of branches covered with razor-sharp thorns, then pelted with blistering 90-mile-an-hour fastballs. Those that survive are then put through the animal tortures. Contestants are bound, smothered in birdseed, then assaulted by a flock of hungry chickens who feverishly peck at their exposed skin. Endure this feeding frenzy and you get to be swarmed by snakes. And dunked backwards into a shallow pond where they're gnawed on by hungry catfish. The field is narrowed down even more using 2 other types of water torture. First, contestants are strapped to a steamboat water wheel and forced to endure repeated dunkings at the risk of drowning. Those that advance are then subjected to an even more barbaric and deadly torture. Chained at the neck, nostrils wired open, they are asked to survive wave after wave of pounding surf. With contestants near their breaking point, organizers start to mess with their minds. They demonstrate with a dummy how the next torture will play out. The dummy is laid on a conveyor belt, a slab of raw meat is placed on its stomach, and then it's pulled beneath cages of wild animals. Holes in the floor allow the beast to attack its prey. Suddenly, no one is volunteering to go first. At the first sight of the paw, most contestants bolt in fear. Others are determined to stick it out until the big cat roars in hunger. They are eliminated only to discover it was all a hoax. 498 men have been beaten, burned, and dragged out of the contest. Ultimately, in each episode of the most dangerous game show, 2 contestants are left standing. In this competition, Junichi Kuono and Koetsu Okada are stripped to their shorts and placed in isolation chambers in the sub-freezing cold of Mount Fuji. They are not allowed to leave or eat or drink. Whoever endures these icy conditions the longest wins the competition. After 25 minutes of freezing, neither one shows signs of weakening. Organizers try to seduce them with a hot bath. Neither one takes the bait. The standoff continues. After 30 minutes at 20 degrees, they are now risking frostbite and hypothermia. The stakes are raised again. Off come the shoes. They dance around fighting to stay warm. That's when the host offers contestants a bowl of hot noodles. Finally, the temptation is unbearable for Koetsu Okada. He breaks and dives into the bowl of warm noodles, leaving Junichi the winner. The grand prize is a week's vacation in Hawaii. But for Junichi Kuono, his ability to survive the game show Guinness calls the world's most extreme is almost payment enough. In the samurai tradition, he has proven that which does not kill only makes him stronger. Don't you wonder if the losers receive a home version of the game and those lovely parting gifts? Stay with us.
Still to come, they're 2 teenage boys with one hairy record. It's a Guinness profile you won't soon forget. But first, another question from the pages of Guinness. According to Guinness, how much does the fattest cat in the world weigh? Is it A, 32 pounds, B, 40 pounds, or C, 60 pounds? The correct answer when Guinness Primetime returns.
I really miss you, Ollie. You should come out to Thailand.
I don't think I'm coming home.
You have to come back.
I love this girl. Who's this girl he's with?
Oliver, you got a girl.
I think I'm falling in love with her.
You came to Thailand and have weird and wonderful adventures with your brother. Come on, let's go out.
Don't you think I'd like to travel too? See the world? Of course I would. Where's the world? Show it to me. I want to go home.
It's gonna be terrible and great. Terrible with this greatness at its core.
I'll have to work until the day I die to pay off Jake's debt.
अगले 1 मिनट में मेरा सपना पूरा होने वाला है। इस सपने को पूरा करने के लिए मैंने कुछ अच्छा किया, कुछ बुरा और कुछ बहुत बुरा किया। दुनिया में ऐसा एक आदमी था जिसने कोई बड़ा सपना पूरा करने के लिए कुछ अच्छा, कुछ बुरा और कुछ बहुत बुरा न किया। और अगर ऐसा कोई है भी तो मुझे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, क्योंकि अगले 30 सेकंड में मेरा ये सपना पूरा होने जा रहा है।
So, according to Guinness, how much does the fattest cat in the world weigh? Is it A, 32 pounds, B, 40 pounds, or C, 60 pounds? The correct answer is B, 40 pounds. 40.8 to be exact. His name is Orange Thing, and he looks like something from the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And overinflated at that. How did this 8-year-old tabby get big enough to be world champ? It was hard work. He had to not only take great care to eat a lot, but to avoid any of the normal kinetic cat activities.
He don't do nothing besides eating and going to the bathroom. That's about all he does, is just lay around.
Unfortunately, his Minnesota home is 2 stories, which does mean he has to drag himself up and down a flight of stairs.
He'll walk up one flight and rest at the landing, and then walk up the rest of the stairs and kind of wait there for a little while and then make his way to his room.
Orange Thing's first vet thought he had a thyroid problem, but he doesn't. He just eats too much, and his one attempt at a diet didn't work out too well.
His current vet would like for him to try again. Could he possibly get any bigger? At least without exploding?
He could. I think he's maxed out, but he could. There's a chance he could get bigger.
If he does, it would be wise not to say anything to him about it. He can be a little sensitive when you make fun of his weight.
That was unbelievable. And there's more to come on Guinness in the weeks ahead.
It's the record that everyone is still talking about. Don't miss the Worm Man, Mark Hogg, as he defends his record in the Super Bowl of worm eating. It's 3 men and 1 woman in a winner-take-all challenge you won't believe. And from the Isle of Skye in Scotland, Tom Leppard, the world's most tattooed man. And now, in a Guinness exclusive, he's coming to America. See the Leopard Man up close and personal in our Guinness studio. Plus, from Shanghai, China, a Guinness record that may never be challenged. Can Mr. Lu Guoju walk the stairway of machetes and not bleed? Witness it and wonder. Plus, Stevie Starr is the only man on the planet known as the human regurgitator.
Gosh. Oh my God.
Wait till you see what Stevie coughs up for a new record.